Hello YouTube, thank you for tuning in, and today I would like to do a review of Assassin's Creed 2. Now this footage you'll see is from my PS3. I recorded this using my new AverMedia Game Capture HD2 or 2HD, so this is also a sort of test. Now, throughout the centuries, there is an ongoing conflict between the Templars and the Assassins. So that's basically the premise of this game. To be quite honest, I don't care all about the whole Animus thing. If you don't know what that is, well, there's this guy named Desmond who gets hooked on this machine called the Animus that allows him to experience the memories of his ancestors who were in fact, assassins.
You haven't shown any of the symptoms.
Symptoms? What symptoms?
Degradation of cognition, temporal hallucinations, multiple awareness issues, overlapping realities, you know.
So what you...
This all sounds very interesting in theory, but in practice these segments you get to play as Desmond are just completely boring. I really don't know why Ubisoft even wanted to use these segments in the game, because they're boring, they're not interesting. Fortunately, most of your time is spent in the Animus with Ezio, whose storyline is just amazing. It is set in the Renaissance Italy, with cities like Florence, San Gimignano, Venice, and even Rome to explore, and all kinds of historical characters like the Medici and Leonardo da Vinci to meet. Now, at the beginning of the game, Ezio's father and his brothers were wrongfully hanged by what turns out to be, surprise, surprise, those evil Templars. So you actually feel for Ezio as he becomes this assassin and tracks down the conspirators. Now, if you've ever been to Italy, especially in Tuscany, you immediately recognize the different cities in this game, as well as the surrounding countryside. But also that specific atmosphere is captured through the use of warm, vibrant colors, you know, the bustling sounds of the cities full of people going about their own business. So Ubisoft, the publisher of this game, really did an amazing job on the visuals and the sound side of this game, so to create this typical Italian atmosphere, even going so far to use partly Italian speech.
Could 16 have found that needs so
Even
much
though
secrecy and security?
It all looks great. I don't think that the faces look very good, and I understand that a bit because it's hard to do natural-looking faces in games. I think the only game I was really impressed by in this aspect is The Last of Us. So you actually get to see the expressions on people's faces, but this is an older game, you know, I can deal with wooden-looking faces, you know, that's not a problem, because this game is all about the gameplay, of course. And especially the free running. That's what this game is all about. And it still has its issues, especially during these rooftop chases. It gives you a lot of freedom in running and climbing and jumping, but it's very easy to leap where you don't want to leap or fall off buildings. Unintentionally, of course. Sometimes I also had some problems with the camera while making jumps. You know, I needed to make a jump from left to right, and the camera sort of gets stuck in a certain different corner. So there's a little frustration here. Nothing you can't deal with, by the way. It's not breaking your game. Now, the scaling of buildings or the climbing is still an amazing treat. You know, reaching the highest points of towers and churches, and by doing so you get to reveal your surroundings of, you know, looking for things to do. It never gets old. And when revealed, the maps are virtually littered with icons of stuff you can do in this game. You know, besides the interesting main story, there are parkours to do, letters to be delivered, assassination contracts to fulfill, races you can participate in, treasures to be found, all kinds of secrets to be uncovered. So there's a lot to do in this game. You also get a base town that generates money, and money earned through doing missions or generated by your house can be spent on renovating your hometown, like renovating buildings and stuff. You can buy paintings to decorate your own house, or you can spend your money on better gear and weapons. So for completionists, this game offers a lot, as well as a huge number of achievements on PS3. Fact is, all of this, you really get invested in Ezio and his storyline. Altair, the main character in the first game, really pales in comparison. You know, the first game is basically, compared to Assassin's Creed 2, the first game is a mess. You know, it's only a tech demo. There's not a lot to do. That was the main criticism on the first game. But here it is. There's a huge amount of content. Now, stealth is also very much a part of this game, but it's more forgiving than in the first game. The first game, it was really frustratingly hard to shake off soldiers that were following you. They could climb almost as good as you, which is unrealistic, of course. So here it's a lot easier to blend into the crowds or lower your notoriety by removing wanted posters that are hanging all over the place, you know, the strangest places ever. But again, that's the fun part. You need to climb there to get to certain posters and then remove them. I was never a fan of the fighting system in Assassin's Creed, especially in the first game, because it sort of forces you into a fighting stance that's very hard to get out of. It's still here, but now you get a lot of extra moves, like you can evade blows, block, even disarm your opponent, and as a result it is more fun, I must say. Also, you get a lot of different weapons now that you can upgrade, different swords, different knives, poison knives, I know, a whole range of weapons. And there's a lot of different ways to assassinate enemies, from above, hanging on a balcony, the strangest ways of dealing with your enemies, and it's really a lot of fun. Technically, this game runs fine, really. I did not experience game-breaking problems. I saw there were some clipping issues and some screen tearing, especially on PlayStation 3 as I was playing the game, but less so than the first game, so it's optimized a lot better than the first game. Even now, Assassin's Creed 2 is by far my favorite game in the series. If you never played it, do yourself a favor and pick this up. So, a great game that has a share of problems, but nothing game-breaking. Hope you liked the video. Leave comments and see you next time. Thanks.